Good Friday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the Internal Combustion Engine Age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and motorcycles, the SUV, the camper, the turbo Kiefer dog, the life, the things, the end of the week, the Friday. Rip Van Winkle. Was Rip Van Winkle the guy that fell asleep under the tree and an apple hit him? They realize he's been asleep for so many years, something like that. I don't know. I think that's who I am today. Wow. Hey, good Friday morning there for all that tuning my channel. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening to me gab away yet another day. And I must be Rip Van Winkle if that's who I'm thinking is the caricature of falling asleep. Wow. Last night was probably the best night's sleep I've had in ages. I mean, incredible. I slept like a rock. I rarely ever sleep through the night. And I woke up late. I mean, it's like, wow. And my daughter just like, you okay? I'm like, I just had the best night's sleep in ages. I just don't sleep. That's my challenge in life is I wake up all the damn time. So, wow. Hey, good morning to those that watch me. And I certainly hope you're having a blessed Friday. Up here in this Northern Virginia, Maryland, D.C. area, it's a gorgeous day. Beautiful day. This is a day you definitely should be out on your motorcycle, on your bicycle, playing tennis, playing golf. I mean, just wow. I mean, wow. Just incredible. Being outside as we're going to be limited to this type of beautiful weather as the season continues to change upon us. And if you watch my video on a daily basis, you can see how the trees and the leaves are slowly starting to change with the season of change upon us. Oh my goodness. So what do we talk about? And for Brian K out there, Humiture. Humiture, I think, is how you pronounce that. He was commenting he'd never heard of Humiture, like Humid. And so it's not making fun of Brian K by any means. I'm just sharing with you that Humiture is a real thing of the difference of humidity and the actual temperature. And wow. Gale is back in Don's Chevy Impala. Well, how about that? Well, Don told me here the other day that he doesn't give two rats' ass about that Chevy Impala. And once Gail heard about that, she just 2-footed as fast as she could to get down here and get in that Impala. I guess Gail may have a Chevy Impala. Wow. With the convertible down, Don didn't care about it. He inquired about that yesterday. Where'd the Chevy Impala go? And then he kind of gave me the feelings like he's glad he gave that thing away. Where'd Kiefer go? I can't keep track of these dogs. I just hate it when your phone or your device doesn't work right. Apple is like the most notorious of all the devices where you touch the phone or pick it up a certain way, and the damn thing goes to the King Kong style looking at the device because of something goes wrong. You have to power it off, power it back on. It's not just going to drive you nutty. All right, so here's the thing. What are we going to talk about? Because I like to talk a lot. You notice that? And I do like to talk a lot. What comes from it? Yeah. What comes from all the yabba dabba doing? Yeah, besides you listen to me yabba dabba do. Something I didn't think of the other day is I guess my channel, it must be challenging for people to watch my channel because I don't think about on how the ads add into the length of my videos. Oh my gosh. I was thinking to myself yesterday, thinking, wow, it must be torture watching my channel because I have these 35 to 45 minute morning conversations. If the ads are popping up in between all that time, it turns into being like, wow, yeah, I just talk way too much. But right now, we're already 4 minutes in, just walking from the other side of the property to here and getting the dogs in. And so right there, but I enjoy doing that. But that's usually a 3 to 4 minute part of my getting going this conversation. So right there, that's just, if it was a 30-minute conversation, and I took away the walking across the way, but I think most people enjoy me walking across the way as I trudge along. Like, what was it, Mr. Rogers? Mr. Rogers' show that he used to walk across the way or something? I don't know. How many years ago was that when I saw one of those shows? Yeah. All right, so there we go. Gail's Food and Stuff on YouTube. Watch her channel. She shows you how to make food. And looky here. Good old Don pounding the beers. He and the wild man in the bed of the truck. Wow, wouldn't that be a crew? Woo, wow, yikes. So, you know what? If Mr. Sanchez had an icon of who he is, I'd have Mr. Sanchez here next to the bike, but he doesn't want to show his face, which I get that. I mean, I know I'm not here being rude or mean. So here's the thing. On Monday, we had the safe conversations. On Tuesday, the want conversations. On Wednesday, the danger. Thursday, words on how you pronounce words, what words. Friday, I thought, you know what we haven't had? And, I had such deep sleep. My body's just really getting going this morning. I'm running really late. But, I just had an incredible... Who doesn't just love getting a good night's rest? And who doesn't just love that versus you don't get a good night's rest? It's so challenging, especially when you have to be up early in the morning to be on the job and you're just dragging through the day. So, yes, the word of the day is love. We've never have had the word love. And that is such a powerful word that all of us use in our vocabulary and the way we talk and the way we feel. And I'm sure everybody here can remember their first true love, if they had a boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever it may be, or that dog or that horse, whatever it may be. But that love, that feeling of love is just incredible. How powerful, how emotional that is. And it's obvious, what is my love besides going out and buying something yet again? Me owning something yet again. That's my life. You look at the love of my life, and also it's the sorrows of my life because they create such financial havoc around me that it becomes overwhelming and challenging that the love for a lot of these things starts to dissipate because I can't afford them anymore and I got to go bye-bye. And so I've had that happen numerous times in my life. But the word love, once again, everybody here knows it's a very powerful word. And you love your wife, you love your father, mother, but at the same time, that love can go away. And if something that you love then turns into something that you hate. Who doesn't know these stories? Come on. Everybody's had that story in their life of something they love so much, sadly turns into something they hate so much. And in relationships, I guarantee you about every person on my channel could send me a personal little letter of their life of what they love so much that now they hate so much. And that's the challenge, the word hate. But that whole point of that conversation this morning was, I think of Dan up in Canada, because he's mentioned throughout my videos, it's kind of like, where's the upbeat? Where's the upbeat conversation? And he said, we should have a together conversation. I thought the love definitely flows with that idea because who doesn't love being together with your family? But at the same time, I know there's many people that don't love being with their family. How many people out there love going and gathering for the holidays with their families and friends? And I think majority of people do get like that. But then there's also the fine line there that you don't love that because there are certain individuals that show up that you just don't love. You don't like them. So for us, though, it's always about the same old story, the same rhetoric, day in, day out on my channel, which is the love of the Ice Age, which I took the letter 1 to look like an I to continue to keep my Ice Age name. Nobody's asking for stickers. The whole channel has just gone kaput. It's just, and what I mean by that is it's just like the subscribers have just gone to null. I was picking up at one time 300, 400, 500 subscribers a month. Now I'm in the 100, 150, 150, which isn't anything just to bitch and moan and cry. And just share with you with my channel that I love to do. And that's the thing. I love to make videos. I love to share my life with others. And I love to share my experiences. And I truly love doing that. And if I didn't, I wouldn't be doing this Ice Age TV on YouTube anymore because it doesn't make you any money. I wish it did. I only wish I was the guy that was making tons and tons of money for all my efforts and all the things I love to do that would be, shared back to me for all my love of me sharing with you on the crazy things I do in my life they're crazy. It's beyond unbelievable of what I share with people that most probably never would, never will. And I get all that. And for me, for all the fruits of my labor on my channel, the love of what I've done and what I feel like others so truly do love, I've had many people reach out and comments and say, I just love your channel. But then YouTube, does YouTube actually love me? Yeah, that's where a lot of people agree that They don't love me so much because I just tell it the way it is, and I don't play the game of having to be paid off to run my mouth, like a majority of people do in this world. There are political figures and leaders that are just paid off to run their mouth of really nothing they have any really clue what they're talking about, but they're paid to say things, especially athletes. Who doesn't just love seeing your favorite athlete get up and start running his mouth by some agenda that was given to them, and it's just like, wow, the love of that professional just went south on me. And even the point on my own YouTube channel, I've had people reach out on a personal note that I'm done with your channel. I don't love the way you talk anymore. Yeah, I get all that. So, but for us, we have the love of Ice Age, and it's a never-ending conversation of the Green Agenda people have the love of the EV age. But do the Green Agenda people really know what the EV age is? I mean, if you hear the stories of what goes into making these electric vehicles, we all know it's a bunch of smoke and mirrors, because the carbon footprint that is required to make these electric vehicles in so many ways is every bit of a ICE running vehicle, meaning when you buy a brand new Chevy Corvette and the carbon footprint of this car over X amount of dollars produces so much carbon footprint to the world, to the universe, to Mother Nature. But at the same time, this creates more carbon footprint they claim to put together. Now, is that factual? I read that years ago. I read years ago that a Tesla, and I've talked about this on my channel before, that people love their Teslas. If you're buying it for the green agenda, you're not really being sincere to yourself, because you're not solving the green agenda's challenges of the humans destroying Mother Nature, Earth, and the ozone per se. That's the whole, that's the whole rhetoric of the green agenda activist-minded person. But what we read is it's 40 or 50,000 miles on a Tesla before it then really starts to separate itself per se, depending on how you charge it at your house, solar, wind. I have no idea what you're doing, but anyways, the point is you don't really pass the love of the green agenda until you're past a certain amount of miles. But even at that, you're driving with tires that the tires are another major problem in the green agenda, is because the little rubber is coming off your car that gets into the roadways, that gets into into the sewer system, that goes into the streams, that goes into the ocean. The list goes on and on and on about how these cars and trucks could drive down the road, and as you see your tires have less tread, well, where did the tread go? Well, it's coming off your vehicle on the concrete, the asphalt, whatever it may be, and that's dirty. That's bad material that's getting into the infrastructure or the waterways of Mother Nature, Earth. So you're not really accomplishing what you think you are. Maybe you think you are, but you're not. And even to the point that the love of these EV vehicles is waning. Why is that? And I'm not saying that the people are starting buying them, but it's not taking off and ramping itself up like any great extreme. And I think it's because the people that are more level-headed and like to sit back and think and analyze and kind of just get their head wrapped around what they're seeing and let the other people be the guinea pigs, like on my TV. And that's what I've done. Like on my Ice Age TV, is I've gone on my way to share with others all these crazy things I buy, and then I can just tell you that what I think is good or bad, and not trying to be one-sided, not trying to be a political party person that just lies their ass off to you all day long just to get something accomplished to enrich themselves. That's all these politicians do. How come Barack Obama has like $1 billion? Did you know that Barack Obama's net worth is $900 million? How did he get all that? Bill Clinton, you guys do a list. That's what cracks me up. Everybody runs their mouth about Donald Trump. Oh, Donald Trump, he's gone bankrupt. He doesn't know how to run a business. He's just a freaking money monger. Look up Barack Obama's net worth from being a politician. Look up. You won't get much out of Joe Biden right now. He's too close. Look up most of the presidents in our country, and even high-profile politicians. Nancy Pelosi. Look at all these people. And just, come on, give me the comments that I'm wrong. I love it when people tell me I'm wrong. I have no problem with that. I really don't. I mean, I can take the punches And tell me I'm wrong, but all these politicians are richer than hell. And they didn't go bankrupt because they wrote off everybody else's money, didn't have to create anything but run their mouth. I mean, come on. And I'm going to make myself the Obama Library, the Clinton Library Foundation, blah, blah, blah. Get the hell. Even the Bush. I'm not here, by any means wanting to attack one specific party. It's on both sides. Most of these politicians are richer than hell. How do they get rich? By the run of their mouth. Oh my gosh, no, being paid off. Come on, man. You understand this. So, don't you just love that? And so for me on my channel, you don't love that. It angers you. But people play to the game that, oh my gosh, one guy's got too much money, but all the guys that were in power that are out of the screenshots every day, they're extremely rich. How? Why? Right? So, but that's the thing. Don't you love having money? I mean, sincerely, are you more happy when you have money, or are you more unhappy when you don't have money? I guarantee everybody on my channel say, of course. My wife is very happy when she loves the fact that we can retire one day and we get this big nest egg of money where we can go move and do whatever we want to do. Yeah, the woman loves that relationship. Does a woman love looking at a man named Iceman that pisses all his money away in cars? She doesn't love that. She hates that. She just is very concerned for the future and our well-being of where we go next in our life. And this here is a total, not a love feeling from my wife. Yes, very challenging in my own world, as you know, and some of you out there too probably have the same challenges. But the point is, who doesn't love having extra money? Who doesn't love getting the phone call or the message that you're going to be up for a pay raise, a promotion? I mean, in some ways that's great, in some ways not. Depends on how you take on your new promotion and more responsibilities and tasks, or whatever it may be. So back to the love, what drives us to love a specific vehicle, specific brand? I mean, what I love about Honda is I grew up when Honda came to life and be in this country, meaning back in the 60s and early 70s, Honda was a very dominant dirt bike and motorcycle company that came from Japan, and that was my first motorcycle dirt bike that I ever rode was a little Honda CT50. And the Honda Monkey is the grown up version of it, but it has the same look. That little motorcycle, that was for me, a kid, when I rode that little dirt bike. And it was a used dirt bike that didn't really run that well, but my dad couldn't afford much anything else to get my brother. It was my brother's dirt bike, and I rode it, and I just loved that. Just from that one time riding that, I knew from that point on, I wanted a dirt bike. And then it wasn't until California, a person reached out the other day. Who was it? I think it was Mr. Sanchez. I grew up outside, but I didn't really grow up. I lived in San Francisco, outside of San Francisco in Moraga, California, Los Perales Elementary School. So we lived there from 1972 to 1976, and sadly my dad got transferred back to Jersey, which that was so hard on the family because everybody loved California at that time. We loved it out there because of the season was really nice throughout the year. Didn't have the snows, didn't have the bitter winters, but we had the love of going snow skiing up in the Lake Tahoe, and we just enjoyed the powder snow and not the long lines to get down a hill in 3 minutes or 1 minute like you do on the East Coast. And I know there's good ski resorts on the East Coast, but we came from Jersey, we left Jersey, and we moved to California because of my dad working for the AT&T Western Electric conglomerate back at that time. And in California, we enjoyed playing tennis. So that's where I learned to play tennis. That's where I learned to play golf. So as a very young boy, I loved the fact that I could go with my father or my sister. My brother wasn't into that. He's 8 years older than me, so he was off doing his own things. But it was more about my sister and my younger sister, not my oldest, and my dad and my mother, us going, and we'd go down to the tennis courts and play tennis. Or we would go golf. The golf was more of my father and I. And then as time progressed, we wanted to get a sailboat. And I actually learned in San Francisco Bay how to sail a little day sailor sailboat. That was the summer of 76 before we moved back to New Jersey. So for us, the whole family loved California, and my older brother, he didn't want to leave. My older sister didn't want to leave, and they just resisted it. But my younger sister and myself had to come back to New Jersey because we had no choice. We had to go to school, and we were too young to be self-sufficient. So, but my brother tried to stay in California, but it didn't last long, and eventually he decided to come east. And that's a whole other story another day of what he brought home, being a raccoon, which I think I've told that story before. And then my oldest sister, she moved to Hawaii. Yeah, she actually lived in Maui, Hawaii for a while, and she lived out there for a few years. So she loved it out there, but she didn't love how much money you had to make to be able to live there, even back in 1976, 77. So anyways, the whole point is, for Honda, I witnessed growing up the Honda motorcycles, but believe it or not, my favorite brand was Yamaha. So I was never really a Honda kid. I was more I like the look of the Yamaha. Was it because it's yellow and the YZ80, YZ125? So for me, eventually my mother and father bought me a YZ80 dirt bike in California, and that was like a dream come true for me because I was in 6th grade, but it was the summer, it was the end of school year, 6th grade, when we were moving back to New Jersey, and I got this little dirt bike that I was able to ride just really a few weeks before we'd be leaving. But we lived in this very suburban area. We didn't have any property. So I would just have to blast up and down the street into a cul-de-sac, and then I got brazen, and I would drive down the road on my own and find an orchard field or find the side of a mountain where kids are all riding their dirt bikes and go dirt bike riding. Well, meanwhile, I'm riding on the road illegally through neighborhoods to get there. That was my true beginnings. And I'll never forget the first time I was all by myself. It was just incredible back then. I'm just riding this little dirt bike, and I'm in 6th grade, and my parents, I'm probably just oblivious to what's going on. Me and my dad's at work, and my mom's in the house doing her chores, getting things ready for a meal, whatever. I have no idea. But the point is, I'm out there riding this little dirt bike just in 6th grade. So I guess I was probably, I don't know, what was it back then, like 11, 12 years old, be my guess. Well, yeah, let's see. So no, I was like 13 years old. And so, yeah, it's hard to believe, right? Even for me. Wow, that's crazy. So, meaning I was a little older than I thought I was. So I ride up the side of this freaking mountain hill, and as I'm going up it and get right to crest it, I lay the bike down and I bend the shifter. So I took a pretty hard fall, and now I can't shift. The bike's stuck in gear, and I've screwed the bike up. And so now I got to ride the bike back home, like in 2nd gear, whatever gear I was, going up the side of that mountain. And so for me, I'm very upset with myself because my brand new dirt bike's been damaged and injured, and I can't ride it anymore. And I'm going to get it back to the house, and that's it. And so then that bike gets packed up, and it's shipped to New Jersey to a storage facility for, I guess you have to say, at least 4 months, as we're having our house built in New Jersey. My dad and mom built a custom-built home there in New Jersey. And it took forever for we could finish, and we had to live in a hotel room. I've had those conversations as well. But the point is, the love of my little dirt bike brought tears to my eyes because I felt like I broke it, and my mother and father would be upset with me because they'd have to now spend money to fix it, which who knows how much that would be. So the point is, what drives the love of your passion of the brand that you love? Did it come from being very young? And I hear these stories all the time. It's typically the mother, or I should say more the father, I would say. It could be the mother as well. But typically it's the father. When I grew up, my dad was not a Ford guy. He was a GM guy. So that's what I grew up around. I grew up my dad buying the Pontiac, the Chevys, the Cadillacs. And so it was more about my love. And my brother was a huge Camaro guy, Chevy guy. And so I just grew up around that environment. It wasn't until I came to Virginia in the early 80s and I met a good friend named Ivan that he was a Mopar head, that he opened my eyes up to the Mopars. And then I really fell in love with the Cuda, the early 70s Cuda, that was really, just to me, really sharp lines. And I used to hang out with my friend Ivan, as he used to go to car shows with all the other Mopar guys. They go around and drive their cars around on a Sunday. And so then I got more in love with a Mopar. But then I really got in love even before that. What's interesting, before I moved, well, I guess that would be accurate. Back in the Jersey, before I moved from Jersey to Virginia, I loved the Ram truck, the Dodge Power Wagon. I begged my dad back in 1978 to buy a Dodge Ram Power Wagon, and he just didn't have the money to do it. But that's so I did like the Dodge look, the Ram look. But once again, where is the love coming from that kind of gets you? Because I have so many friends and people I know, like Chris. Chris is not a Ford guy. My good friend Chris and Shannon, he's not a Ford guy. He's tried to buy a Ford, he can't do it. He's a GM guy. And then you'll meet people who are Ford people that just can't buy a GM vehicle. They just can't do it. They don't like it. You know, what drives that? And they'll say that the Ford product is a piece of junk. Or the Ford person is like, the GM's just cheesy. The interior, the dash, the seat. I hear these type of comments to this date on my channel. Somebody just doesn't love the way that seat is. And that's what people are asking me on my channel here about when I got the Chevy Bison HD truck, the big size, is how the seats. Because many people are like, typically GM seats suck when it comes to luxury and comfort, and have they made them any better? And and in so many ways, I think the Ford does have more cushy little bit, but I think the Ram probably takes the cake on the interior, the quality, and all those other things that goes to aesthetics. They give it that really cool look. So, who doesn't love finding the cheapest gas in your neighborhood? That's a whole other thing. You go looking for gas, and typically most people are price conscious and they want to go find. You go to Sam's Club or Costco, and you're saving 30, 40, 50 cents a gallon on gas, which you're like, wow, that's great, because that just bought me a McDonald's lunch, if that's what you're excited about. So, once again, how did we all come to love certain things in our life? What drove you to be like that type of person that is more into one style versus another? And for me, I just wasn't really into this style of motorcycle so many years ago. I loved the way it looked, but always felt like I wouldn't love the way it rides, which I've been very amazed that I do love the way it rides, because I've been behind the bagger bike with the big fairing that's always deflected all the air off my body. And it took a little getting used to when I went to the naked bike. That's what I call it, the naked bike, where you don't have this big front fairing in front of you deflecting all of the bugs and air away from you. So I really felt like I wouldn't be as excited to be on these bikes because you have so much airflow in you. Even though when I was younger, you didn't know any different. And I grew up riding a street bike from my junior and senior year, and a little thereafter, a Yamaha 550 Maxim, which was just a naked bike with no fairing or anything, but you just didn't understand that back at that time for me, and what was even available back then versus what is available today. And so for me, it's incredible how I've transitioned from being a fairing guy only to now being naked guy, in which I think that it's, for me as I get older in life, I love the change up of the ride, and I love how it's just a whole different type of experience being a motorcycle and how the wind is in your face, and it is really a lot different. And for me, I love the change up, and that's my challenge in my life. I get to love something, but then I don't. I get to love one of these motorcycles, but then I get burned out, and it's like, I'm bored of it. That's what Chris yesterday, I was telling Chris, out there at Timbrook Honda, what's going on at Timbrook Honda? Uh-oh. What's going on at Timbrook? What's today's adventure? Yikes. Is there an adventure? I don't know. Can't say for sure on that one. But the thing is, I was out at Timbrook Honda last few days, had to get my big tent for my Honda CRF 450, which is over here, and which has all the Honda logos on it and everything. And I wonder if that thing's worth. That's just like a whole package. Oh, one of my subscribers, or one person, reached out, and I think they're sincere. They're like, will you sell your Fireblade to me? And I was like, no. Because this is a very rare production bike. And just for the record, they are still building the Fireblade. So anybody out there wants a Fireblade, it'll be a different color, different scheme, but they're still building them. So yeah, now if somebody offered me stupid money for it, they're not. Yeah, I would consider it, but I don't think that's going to happen. It would be worth it. And with me, stay tuned. You never know with me. Down the road, like, all right, I've had my day with it. I'm going to let it go, whatever. So anyways, out there at Timbrook Honda, Bill's telling me, the general sales manager, Bernie is the general manager of Timbrook Honda and Cumberland Honda and Cumberland Twin Brook, whatever you want to call it. And so Bill's telling me that out there at Skyline, all of a sudden, a lot of people are applying for jobs. And apparently Skyline, Hurley, isn't doing great. And this is no means for me to be, being negative or wanting to be derogatory to Skyline Hurley. But apparently what the word is that the sales are pitiful. And what's incredible is I told one of the partners last year, a year ago, that I don't think this place will make it. I don't think it's just too rural. And you got one brand. You're just so remote out here. And I said, I just don't think you'll make it. And he's looked at me. But the thing is, the Skyline Hurley has a sister store. And the owners, there's two group of owners, meaning there's a couple that's like my age, man and woman, two of them, that own the Harley dealership, Skyline. And Darren out there is just Darren. I'm not talking about Darren on my YouTube channel. Darren is one of the partners, minority, that has to be there all the time to run the dealership. Otherwise, Harley Davidson won't let the people have the franchise. You have to have a designated partner that runs the dealership. Otherwise, Harley won't approve the franchise or whatever you want to call it to run the dealership. On Harley, I told Darren, and back when Chris was the general sales manager out there, who was released and let go of like a month ago, he's out there now with Malloy, like Chevrolet, Cadillac, GMC or something out there in Winchester. So I tried to help him get a job at Timbrook, but he went a different direction if you watched that video a while back. And so the word is they sold like 20 motorcycles. So last month, who knows? I don't know if it's all factual, but all I can tell you is Bill is seeing people now reaching out. They're leaving that dealership. So wow. So I hope the best for Skyline Harley, but since it's just one brand product, you just have to scratch your head of, how long can that operation last, as the sister store probably pays its way. So who knows? I don't know. Hope the best for everybody. But the thing is the love of the Harley Davidson brand starting to wane because of all this DEI stuff and the woke stuff and the price for the motorcycles. But Harley's always been expensive motorcycles, so I wouldn't buy into Harley struggling, because the new generation Street Glide and Road Glide are actually less money than the previous generation, which is sitting here, which was more money. So I wouldn't buy into, somebody said, no, it's because Harley's gotten too expensive. And now they're taking $6,000, $7,000 off some of these CVOs, not necessarily this one, but the CVO non-ST. You can probably find a brand new one left over, probably get $6,000, $7,000 off of it, and maybe more. And so once again, I don't believe that's what's going on. Something's going on. Is it more about the fact that people have heard from Jerome Powell that lowered the interest rate, and they love the fact that now they can get money for cheaper, and the stock market's going through the roof? It's interesting when you watch all these analysts and all these speculations, the constant rhetoric on how the stock market's going to crash. You hear it over and over again. I wish some people would go to some of these YouTubers that I talk about all the time that 2 years ago, 3 years ago, were saying that this country would be destroyed. By the time, they would be out, the country would be going bankrupt left and right. People would be losing everything. I don't know. I hear the stories. I hear the repos are up. I hear foreclosures are up, but I don't see it. I don't know. I guess it's just to keep on blowing that sail out in the middle of that pond with no wind as hard as you can to hope that boat keeps moving, or has the ship already sailed? So it's very, very debatable. And once again, what do you want to listen to? Do you love to listen to? That's the thing about YouTube, which some people have reached out. They love my cooking video, which that's cool. And last night I didn't do that. It's just so much work, and it's just too much food. I just don't need to be eating, more food. I need to be eating less food. And that's the thing. Then it gets expensive. Gail claims I should go somewhere else to shop. But whatever. I mean, for me, those places aren't really per se close by. But in my travels, I could go and drive somewhere else and get food cheaper. But I can't see me really exploding my channel through the cooking videos. I mean, I can't see it, and I just don't think that's going to be my main focus. Will I do some here and there? And I have. I've made some videos of me cooking meals with the family and being other places, but never in great length of how we make the meal. So that seems to get some attention, which it did. I got a decent amount of views off of that, which that's very nice. And yeah, what do you love? But having a really good meal. Who doesn't just love, having a really, really good meal? We all love that. That's the danger where we are is you can eat way too much. Even though if you go back to early 1900s, go back to the Depression, the word was out that the world would be starving, which it is. I mean, the world is starving, but it was more about how there wouldn't be enough food for mankind because the population growth and everything else. And I just love to hear all these predictions of the dire straits. I mean, isn't it incredible? That's just how mankind, it's just incredible how mankind works off of tomorrow. It's the tomorrow, what's going to happen tomorrow. It isn't going to happen today. It's going to be tomorrow. But then tomorrow, it's again the conversation what's going to happen tomorrow. And these are people that seem to do very well of manipulating people to believe all these things that are just so not true. Oh, wait a second. Are we talking about Joe Biden? Holy crow. Wow. How'd I stumble onto that? Don't you just love all the people that elected Joe Biden to office? Don't you just love that? Don't you just love that we're living in a society that elected a guy that everybody said when he's being elected that he'd run this country in the ground? We'd probably end up being in wars. I mean, don't you just love that? And some people are like, well, that's far-fetched. Like, okay, well, right. You just don't want to look at what's going on around us as Israel is full-out war, man. Full-out war. When does Iran show up in a more nasty way than we've ever seen ever? I mean, Israel's all pushing it. They are pushing it. Yeah, I mean, wow. I'm sure the Israel people love what they're doing to the others. I'm sure some aren't, but at the same time, wow. To me, it's just a ticking time bomb. We're literally on a time bomb. I truly believe where we are in this country, and the media machine loves to tell people things that so many think are right. And I've had these conversations so many times on my channel, and they get away with it, and they love it. They love how people toe heel to what they have through agendas to accomplish things, and the media machine is masters of deception. And we know that. Propaganda's been around since mankind's been around. It's nothing new, but it's just the electronic devices and social media machine now more than ever can distract everybody to believe that what is, but really isn't. And that's why, for me, our well-being of our country, the country I love, I mean, do you love our country? But you hear so many people that don't love our country. You hear very well-off people that have done extremely well in their life, made a ton of money off of others, and in so many ways, they hate this country. You hear them mouth off all the time. Look at LeBron James. He really irritated me years ago, running his mouth. He sides with the Chinese over the Americans. But did you hear that rhetoric in that guy? Hell no, that guy's a billionaire. That guy, you'll forget it. That guy's beyond touchable. He'll continue to make money hand over fist. He can run his mouth whatever way he wants to run it. There ain't nothing going to change. People are still call him maybe the GOAT. From Michael Jordan, is he the GOAT? And the thing is, you just didn't hear the guys like Michael Jordan, Larry Bird. I don't remember these other people just mouthing off. But you know what goes on is the media loves to use these people to accomplish agendas and things. And we don't like that. And so I'm going to wrap it up because I'll talk all day long. But the thing is, for me, I've been blessed. I really have been blessed on my channel because I have so many loving subscribers. I just love my subscribers. I really do. It keeps me going when I some days think it's not worth keeping things going because there's just nothing here. There's no money here. I mean, there's nothing here. So I'm the guy that gets up every day and not much comes to me for my fruits and labor of my channel, of all the video and content I do. And wow. And so I'm sure some people would say, "Oh, how do you love doing this?" It's because I just love to interact with others. And I've met great people that I love to interact with. And I've been blessed on that side of the equation. The love of my channel flows more on the interaction than it does the bank account. If it wasn't for that, then yeah, I would have been gone years ago, because I'd be like, I'm just talking to myself to a phone, which who could believe you'd be doing that? Who could believe when I was a young person, I'd be walking around talking to a phone every day of my life that publishes to whoever that wants to watch me talk to a phone? Be unbelievable, right? Here is Kiefer. He's all chilled out. And yesterday what I did is I ran the hell out of him on the John Deere. I just love that John Deere Gator. I ran him with the John Deere Gator. He really can't get as aggressive on that. And I let him, so he really can't, he has to be more cautious. So I ran the heck out of him, and he didn't get as aggressive. The Grom, it's very, it's borderline dangerous. He gets so into this bike. It's a lot of fun, but it's very, it's borderline very, very dangerous. And so for me, I need a different machine for him to have even more fun. And do I get another machine? I'm up to now. Is there another Tim Brook Honda Adventure purchase? Yikes. Uh-oh. That's it. I'm going to shut the heck up. And I love all of you on my channel. I really do. I love every one of you that reaches out to me on a regular basis and interacts with me. I really do. You guys really keep me going. I can't emphasize enough. That's why the channel is still going, is because of just select people on a consistent basis interact with my channel and make me feel like that this is worthwhile keeping it going. And that's what I do. So God bless. Have a great day, and stay tuned for the Friday, maybe, Tim Brook adventure. I don't know. We shall see. Got to make a phone call. God bless. Have a great day.